This is Life Transformation Radio. Prepare to engage. Seatbelt activated. Download initiated. Your quantum journey of transformation begins in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. Hi, I'm Rob Actis, best-selling author of The Law of Action, voice actor, business mindset coach, the podcast whisperer, and Mr. Action himself. Life Transformation Radio is heard in over 90 countries. Thank you for joining us from all around the world. Whether it's your first time joining us or you've been listening to Life Transformation Radio for some time, I want to personally thank you. Here at Life Transformation Radio, we are committed to share more about real life, love, the power of positivity, romance, and of course, laughter. We care about helping others find their internal drive and purpose. We celebrate life challenges and overcoming them. Please rate and review Life Transformation Radio on your favorite podcast platform. Also, a personal invitation from me to you. Please join us on Facebook in the Life Transformation Radio community. On this show, my guests are amazing people who are forces for good in the world around them and live a life of transformation. My guest today does just that. Today, Chellie Campbell and I discuss positive affirmations and how what we focus on will expand. And of course, Chellie's mini life transformations. If you want to understand that when you change your mindset, you can change your life and that the power of positive thinking actually does work, this is the show for you. Chellie Campbell is a financial stress reduction coach and the author of The Wealthy Spirit, Zero to Zillionaire, and Speaker of the Year by the Association of Women Entrepreneurs. Chellie, welcome to Life Transformation Radio.
Thank you so much, Rob. I'm delighted to be here today.
Absolutely. So, man, you have got some stories of transformation, like really stories of transformation. I mean, I'm looking at your bio and looking at the, what I just publicly said. However, I'm looking at, I just can't believe it because you're so vivacious and so powerful. And then I see here and, you were a tuna victim being eaten by sharks. And, let's just start there. Like robbed at gunpoint, attacked at 3:00 in the morning, had car and home burglaries. Okay. Mm-hmm. Where do we start?
Well, I'll tell you, I'll start with the realization that I had when I was on jury duty. And this man had been accused of killing his ex-wife on the street in front of 24 people. So I'm part of 50 people in the jury pool. And the prospective jurors always have questions that they are asked by the attorneys for the defense and the prosecution. And they had a list posted on the wall. And they said, these are sensitive questions, and if you need a sidebar, we'll do that so you can answer them in private. And the list of questions, as I read them, I just went, oh my God. Because it was, have you ever been a victim of domestic violence? Yes. Have you ever known someone who's been a domestic violence victim? Yes. Have you ever abused alcohol? Yes. Do you know people who've abused alcohol? Yes. Have you ever been a victim of a violent crime? Yes. Have you ever been robbed at gunpoint? Yes. And I'm having yes answers to all these terrible questions. And I sat there in that moment and I said, why do I have yes answers to all these questions?
Yeah, because it's not even, do you know someone? You know them very intimately. It's you.
It's me. Yes. And I sat there and I said, and what is the common denominator in all of these questions? It's me. I have to have been the person that created these situations. I have to have volunteered to get into these situations somehow. So how did I do that? And what could I do to change it? It was a really illuminating moment sitting there. And they never, ever asked me the questions. They asked all these people, and they were crying, answering them, eating sidebars right and left. But finally, they got the jury, the 12 jurors and the 3 alternates, and the judge looked out and he said, the rest of you, yes, I see you all high-fiving each other out there. You're not picked for the jury and you're excused. But I walked out of there sort of in a daze saying, you know, well, what do I have to change about my life? And I knew about the power of positive thinking, and I would do that upon occasion, but it wasn't consistent. And I would still do negative kinds of things like watch serial killer movies or watch the news and get all excited about them. And I said, I got to cut that stuff out. All the negative stuff has to go. I want to just focus on living a happy life.
Yeah. So that's the most amazing thing. So, as a category director for Podcast Magazine, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I don't know if you know it or not, but the most listened to category of podcasts is true crime. And true crime podcasts are all about people reading in graphic detail horrendous crimes. And I'm fascinated by why people are so drawn to that. And I believe that garbage in, garbage out. Like, that's the way it is. Yes. And I wonder, it'd be interesting to know, because I know people that listen to these true crime podcasts and they have great lives. They don't have a whole lot of drama in there. And there's other people that I know that listen and they have the most crazy lives. And I'm like, you know, you're kind of bringing that into your world, just saying.
That's what I think too. But I have friends who read, all they read is true crime and suspense and mysteries and all of these things. And I go, you're such a nice girl, but I look at your bookshelf and it's murder, murder, murder. How does that work? I just imagine that some people take it in, are empathetic to a degree where it becomes a part of us. And other people keep it dispassionately at bay, and they think it's interesting, but it doesn't emotionally affect them.
Yeah. So what are some things that you do to keep your brain pure and to change where you were? So since you shifted your mind, have you been robbed? Have you been beat up? Have you been all these crazy things that have happened to you? So now you changed your mindset and changed from garbage in to garbage happening around you to just really positive, great stuff. And I'm sure you surround yourself by amazing people. What significant impact has that had on your world?
Well, I'm not afraid. You know, I'm not worried about things. It's like when the pandemic hit and we were told we were being locked down and had to stay at home for 2 weeks, maybe 3. And we thought, what? That's too weird. That can't be right. But then it went on for 14 months, and it's just crazy. But I said to my roommate, when we were hearing all about the deaths and everything, and I said to her, I said, are you okay? Do you feel like you're going to be okay through all of this? And she said, yeah, I'm really not worried. And I said, that's how I feel too. So part of it is being able to sense within yourself whether this problem that is out there in the world is something that is going to affect you negatively. Now, are we surprised sometimes? Sure. But there's an inner knowing that this is not my problem. I am not taking this on. Yeah,
I think a lot of people do take on all the problems of the world. And my philosophy is this. I will worry and stress about things that I have the ability to change. And I won't really stress so much, but I will, if I can take action against something, if it's in my inner world, in my circle, then I can worry about that. But there's stuff going on around me that there is no way that I can have any impact on it whatsoever. So there's really no reason to stress about it. It's just happening. It's kind of like, you know, if if you look and you're standing outside and there's a freight train coming at you, you're stuck in a railroad track and that train's coming, there's nothing you can do about it. Like, you just need to find peace because it's over. And I think that's how life is too. But I think people, see a freight train barreling at them at 120 miles an hour and on a railroad track, and they're on the track that's next to it. Yet they're all stressed out about this train gonna wipe them out, when in reality, it's not on their track.
Yeah. I saw that once. I saw a quote that said, most people spend their lives running away from something that isn't after them.
Absolutely. I think that's a great quote. That's a wonderful quote. I think that's so important. People are worried about all the stuff that they really have no control over happening. Look, life is life, and good things happen and bad things happen. And when you focus on all that bad, unfortunately, the bad will find you.
Yes, I love, this is one of my favorite operational quotes ever from Abraham Hicks. The universe is responding to you in your now. So whatever you're feeling right now means that is what you are sending out vibrationally right now, which means that is what you're attracting to yourself right now, which means your future is full of a bunch of stuff that is going to feel pretty much like right now feels.
And if you change your mindset and really dig down deep and go from that this is a world of abundance and not scarcity, and that you deserve to be happy, you deserve the happily ever after, that it's all right there for the taking. You just live every day in that very present moment. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. It's beautiful, and life is beautiful, and you can focus on all the things that are beautiful. And besides having the positive thought, you have to take positive action. Now, I see some people, that are all woo-woo about the affirmations, and that's all they want to do, and then they're sitting on their couch eating bonbons. And I go, well, how many affirmations do you think it would take you to be able to play the piano?
Oh, well, my whole book, The Law of Action, is the missing piece of the law of attraction, because you can think positive, you can have your affirmations, but until you put one foot in front of the other, ain't nothing happening, girlfriend. It just is not.
That's exactly right.
I'm sitting here looking at my wall. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's funny because there's a story in my book, and it's quite embarrassing. The fact that I actually wrote that and included it in the book is quite humbling. Put myself in a very vulnerable spot. And it was when I was working at a college radio station. I was on the radio, and I've wanted to be in radio since I was a little kid, like just 6, 7, 8, 9. I declared 4 years old. I declared that I wanted to talk on TV, had no idea what that was. But I then started doing little action steps. When I was 6 and 7, I would play like I was on the radio. And so it was in my lifeblood. And here I am on the radio with my very good friend, Tony Pepper. And it's amazing to me that I actually going to publicly admit this, but it's in the book, so it's okay. He was working at B100 FM, the #1 radio station in San Diego. And I really wanted to work there. And it was funny because here I am on college radio with him. And I'm like, God, I just want to be on radio. And he's like, so what, do you just think that they're just going to knock on your door and discover you and like, Rob, we've been waiting for you. Yeah. And I actually answered, yeah, that's really what I thought. And there was all this action, but there wasn't the action towards the radio station. So at that time, I was working for a Minolta corporation. I was selling copiers back in the 80s, and I was making almost $6,000 a month in college radio. That was a lot of money back there. I was really good at selling copiers, really good. I remember, and it was only been there for a month. And I remember my first paycheck. The taxes withheld were more money than I'd ever gotten in any check before. So that was mind blowing. But here's the thing.
Wow.
He said, you got to get a job at a radio station. And I'm like, God, I never thought of that. I honestly, and so many people think that they're just going to knock on the door. And they're not. You have to take the action. So here's what I did. I took massive action. I went in that day to my boss and I said, I quit. He's like, dude, I just saw your check. You made almost $7,000. I go, I know. And I got a new job. He goes, what are you going to do? I go, I'm working at KFMB. He goes, what are they paying you? And I go, it's $3.80 an hour. So I went from a job making almost $7,000 a month to being a receptionist at KFMB for $3.80 an hour at 10 hours a week. Mm-hmm. And from that, my commitment got me into the promotion department, where I had the opportunity to be, under Sandy Bannister, under her tutelage, and I just was there to serve, and I worked my way through the promotions department and just became all in action. I did everything. And then I got into a little bit of production, and then eventually I got on the radio, and I started at the #1 radio station in San Diego, and it was ran by Bobby Rich, who is the program director. And had I not actually taken the action, who knows what my life would be like today. But I took action, massive action. And it's funny because, I'm on the wrong track. I'm selling copiers when I want to be on radio. And yes, I was making a lot of money, but I will tell you, there is nothing in this world that is more fulfilling to live your life's dream, what you were made on this earth to do. And I was made to be on the radio, and I was made to use my voice as a voice actor, and made to do, what I do. And I am in my lane. And had I not taken action, I would probably be still selling copiers, and what a boring freaking life that would be. Like, I can't imagine all the amazing things that I've done by taking action.
Yes, it's the key, because thinking positive is really important. So when I had that recognition and jury duty, I went to the library and I wiped out psychology and philosophy and religion and how to think and how to do. And then I realized, well, changing the thinking isn't enough. I've got to change the actions so that different things happen to me. And I always wanted to sing and dance for a living until I sang and danced for a living, and it was the most boring thing I ever had.
I find that fascinating, because you sang and you danced, and it's the most boring thing. And it's funny because some people will stay in careers that they hate because they feel that that's where they're supposed to be, or their family members, or, oh, well, you can sing and dance. Now, can you sing and dance? Are you good?
I am. I worked. I did Hello Dolly with Martha Ray. I did Summer
you got to sing. You got to give me a little bit of that Hello Dolly. I love that. I used to watch that with my grandma. That was great. Can you just say, come on, Hello Dolly? Come on.
Hello, Dolly. It's so nice to have you back where you belong.
I love it. I got to put some applause in there for you. Oh, I love it. Oh, that's great. Okay, so wait a minute. That was actually good. I mean, I was surprised, and you can dance, and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do.
Well, what happened was the small shows that ran for a few weeks, that was fine. But then when I started getting gigs at Disneyland, because I live close to Disneyland, I was first hired to go to Walt Disney World in Florida. And then they hired me for a gig. It was 5 shows a day, 5 days a week for 9 months in the Mickey Mouse Theater.
What year was that?
It was a show called Fun with Music. And that was 1970.
I probably saw you. I lived in San Diego, and I used to go to Disneyland all the time, and I probably saw you. Oh, that's funny.
You probably
It's a small world after all. Get it? See what I did there? See what I did there? Okay, good. Got it. So you're singing and you're dancing, and
it's a
yeah. And it's funny because, like, I've never been unhappy to do radio. There was never like, oh my God, this is work. This is like, no, this is the greatest thing in the world. Like doing what I do, podcasting. I love this. I'm doing 4 podcasts today and I'm thrilled. I love this.
Yes. Well, let me bring you full circle here. So I went to, I sang and danced all through high school and in college. I was a drama major. I went to school with Michael Douglas. We did a show together there. Then I came to Hollywood to be a star, and that didn't happen, but I was working. But in between acting jobs, I took secretarial jobs. Well, when the Disney show was over, I got one that was supposed to last for 2 weeks. And then it was a really upbeat company. Everybody was making money. It was an employment agency, executive search. And on day 3, they asked me to go full-time permanent. I said, I can't do that. I'm an actress. I have to go on auditions in the middle of the day. And they said, okay, you can go. We'll pay you by the hour for the hour you work.
Right.
Well, dream job, right? So the catch was that 5 months later, their office manager quit, and they offered me that job. I said, but that's finance. I don't know anything about that. They said, we'll teach you. You'll learn it. And I went, okay. Because when I'm about to take a risk, I consider the downside.
Yeah.
If it's not death, I do it. So now I'm learning finance and everything, and I loved it. And I loved working for this company, and I would go on auditions. I got some commercials and stuff. And then I really got into the job. It really was embracing my mind and my talents. And I was offered the lead in Three Penny Opera at the Houston Alley Theater in Texas, but it was a 3-month gig. I would have to give up this job. And I didn't want to give up this job. I loved this job more than I was going to like that job. I knew it. And it was the most astonishing thing for 6 years to only want to sing and dance. And now I wanted to do finance. I'm working in an office. What was wrong with me? And I took it to my friend, who was also an actor. And she said to me, well, what is it that you like about acting? I said, well, I like the applause. I like the money. I like the working with a creative team. I like going to work every day. She said, and what do you like about this job you've got in the office? I said, well, I really like the team of people. I love how they give me a lot of acknowledgement. I like the money. I like going to work every day.
Yeah.
She goes, it's the same list. And I learned in that moment to go for the underlying value. What are the real joys that you're going for instead of the surface? I really was embracing the surface of I'm an actress, and people would be impressed. So later, I was hired to run a small bookkeeping service, and I built it from 2 people and 80,000 in sales to 13 people and 450,000 in sales over the course of 4 years, and then I bought the company. Yeah, I loved it. And I was using all my creativity. And people would say to me, well, don't you miss being creative? I said, creativity is nothing happens today unless I get busy. I do it all. And then as I'm working with all these clients and a recession hit town in 1989 or so, and everybody came and said, what do we do? And I gave them suggestions, and 3 people in the same week said, you should teach this. And I went, oh yeah, okay, I could teach a class. I know I can get up in front of people and create something interesting. And boy, do I think the whole subject of money needs a big remake in terms of lightening up and being able to make money and have fun with it now instead of it all be about saving for retirement. So I invented a class and I started teaching it. Yeah. And that's when my whole life made sense. because I needed the performing skills to be able to teach an interesting class, and I needed the financial skills because that's what's needed out there.
Exactly. Well, one of the things I think is
financial literacy.
You can tell if you're in your lane and you're doing the right stuff, especially work-wise, is would you do it for free?
Yeah.
Like, do you wake up and you're lit up? Like,
yeah.
Would I be a voice actor for free? Yeah. I love it. I mean, I love it. It's.
Yeah. You do it.
And I do. And I'm very blessed that I don't have to do it for free. I'm well compensated for the work that I do. But I think that, man, as someone who's had a near-death experience, you've had some pretty traumatic experiences, learn from us and others that have had, trauma in their lives, and understand, and I'll say it time and time again, you deserve to be happy. And there are so many people that are chasing this almighty dollar, and they're not happy. I have a good friend of mine, super successful. And he's lost track of friends, and he's lost track of just happiness because he's working so hard and he's doing these multi-million-dollar deals and really having an impact in the world and other people. And he's not taking care of himself. And I just got a text from him today, and he's like, "Hey, I really miss you." And I go, "Yeah, dude." And then he's telling me how he's in some serious health issues. And I'm like, you got to take care of yourself, brother. You have to take care of yourself. And it's not being stingy or selfish. You have to take care of yourself. And a lot of people don't take care of themselves by being in occupations or situations, whether it's relationship with a spouse or what have you, that doesn't honor their life.
There's nothing more important than being happy. I want to be happy with my work. I want to be happy with my personal life. I want to just be in joy all the time. Now, that doesn't mean bad things don't happen or things don't work out, but I always think if something doesn't work out, it wasn't meant to work out, and there's going to be something better next. And so when I was trying to get a book deal for my book, The Wealthy Spirit, that was my first one, and, it was a lot of rejections, a lot of turndowns, but I got a little book called Rotten Reviews and Rejections, all about how really famous people got turned down and bad reviews for their work. So it kept me going. I said, well, everybody has this, because you put yourself out there, some people are going to take a pot shot at you. But my mother taught me this. She called it playing the glad game. Whenever we were disappointed or depressed about something, she'd go, "Oh, poor thing," for about 30 seconds. And then she'd say, "Well, let's play the glad game. What's still good in your life?" Well, we didn't want to play the glad game then. We wanted pity. We wanted, "Oh, poor thing." But no, she said, what's still good? And we'd go, "Well, I didn't get the part I wanted in the play, but I did get a part." And there's some people who didn't get a part. And Bobby didn't ask me to the prom, but Steve did, so I can still go, and I got an A on the history test, and Sally's still my best friend, and suddenly you're feeling good again. And I'm telling you, that's the most important trick there is in the universe, is to take whatever is wrong, cry about it for a minute or an hour tops, and then go, "Well, what's still good? Did you eat today? Yeah. You got a place to sleep tonight? Yeah. Oh, then everything is good." Even the point of works. I'm still alive, I'm still breathing.
I can get out of bed. Exactly. Yeah, no, it's so important to have that mindset. So what are some steps that you do to always stay in that moment? I love what your mom shared about being glad. That's a great story. I love that. What are some other things you do to stay in that positive space?
Well, I do positive affirmations every day about love and money and happiness and joy, and I do about 100 of them. And I have a list of 14 on my website. And when I was working on getting the book deal, I had an interview with an editor at Source Books. And this editor said to me, well, there's some things we think should come out of the book. And I said, okay, like what? And she said, well, first of all the affirmations have to come out. And I said, well, this woman isn't publishing my book either. So I was feisty by this time. And I said, oh, yeah, why do you think that? She goes, Chellie, there's 97 affirmation books out there. I can't go to my 40 salespeople and say we're doing another affirmation book. I said, oh, you think everybody knows this already? She goes, well, yeah. I said, well, let me ask you a question. Are you doing them? She goes, I said, positive affirmations, especially about money specifically. Are you doing them every day? She goes, no, I'm not. I said, then I challenge you. Here's my
see what your life is like.
Do them every day and talk to me in 3 weeks.
Exactly.
She goes, okay. Yeah, she did them. The next I hear from her is 3 weeks later. She calls me up. She goes, Chellie. I said, yeah. She says, I can't believe what's happening. I'm getting money out of the air. People are paying me off loans I forgot they owed me. I'm getting a bonus at work. I've never gotten a bonus here before. And I'm getting bigger book deals. I said, you doing the affirmation? She goes, every day on the way to work and on the way home and sometimes before I go to sleep. I said, you doing anything else different? She said, no. I said, then it must be the affirmations. She goes, I think so. I said, so can they stay in the book now? She goes, yeah. So the Wealthy Spirit is, the subtitle is Daily Affirmations.
Perfect. That's perfect for a lot of people right now. I think all of us can use that. I think no matter where you are in your life, finances just add stress. I mean, the more you have, the more stress you have, the less you have, the more stress you have. So I love it. So you can get those affirmations at Chellie.com. And it's not the way you would think it would be spelled. It's actually Chellie. Chellie, thank you so much. Oh, Chellie? Oh, the whole time I've been saying it wrong.
Chellie,
oh, my God.
like
I'm
chocolate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now we know. So I'm far from perfect. So it's Chellie.com, not to be confused with Chellie.com. And I want to say, Chellie, thank you so much for being here today on Life Transformation Radio. What a doll you are. Hello, Dolly.
Thank you, Rob. You're so fabulous. I just love you.
Thank you for allowing me along my very special guest, Chellie, to touch your heart, move your soul, and inspire you to live a life of transformation. I'm Rob Actis. Until next time.
This is Life Transformation Radio. Download complete.